You ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Monday, 9th day of August, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our home page at cfrn.net. On the right hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered at about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It also gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. On the days that you're out of the office, away from your desktop, just point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live, and there you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live during the show on our YouTube channel. It's very easy to remember. You already know youtube.com. So just make it youtube.com/CFRN. And there you go. Not only do we stream live each and every day on our YouTube channel, but we archive every daily live broadcast. Currently, there are over 1,700 daily live broadcasts archived there for your educational and viewing pleasure. With that, let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings, for your mercy, and for your grace. Thank you that you promise us that where 2 or 3 are gathered, you are there in the midst. God, we welcome you amongst us today. We celebrate the gift of life that you have given each of us. We ask that you would open our ears so that we may hear your voice. Open our minds so that we may receive your eternal wisdom. Open our spirits so that we may know your leading and guidance. And God, open our hearts so that we may receive your wonderful love. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Well, happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend, whoever you are and wherever you are. And hopefully you're having a happy Monday as well. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices, as they're called. Starting here in the U.S., the Dow is down 89 points. The NASDAQ is up 30. S&P 500 down almost 4. And the Russell 2000 down just over 5. So some pretty quiet, compressed, sideways trade in the indices. And based on the weekly trading zones, we may be looking at a week of this type of trading activity. Weekly trading zones are very narrow this week. And we've seen this of late. We'll have a week where the highest to the lowest weekly zone's 100 points, and then we'll turn around and have a week where the highest to the lowest is 300 points. Now, we're in our fourth year now of Logic 247, but we're in our, well, the weekly trading zones we've published since December 14th of 2009. So I guess we're coming up on 12 years, give or take. This little math off the top of my head. And for many years, the average from the lowest to the highest weekly zone was about 100 points. That was sort of a typical week, 100 to 150. And then the volatility came and stayed, and we had many, many weeks where the highest to the lowest was 200, some weeks 300, even more. And now this week, the pendulum swings both ways. Now we're looking at potentially a very narrow week from the highest to the lowest, right at 100 points. Okay, that's the indices. Again, the Dow, let's refresh this. Again, the Dow's down 77 points. NASDAQ is the only positive index, up 30 points. The only one of the major four. S&P 500 is down 3. Russell 2000 down 5. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $1.71, trading 66.57 last. That's a drop of 2.5%. Gold down $32.80, trading 17.30 last. Drop of almost 2%. Silver down 89 cents, trading 23.43 last. That's a drop of almost, well, a little over 3.5%. Now, with silver down 89 cents, it's worth reminding you that when the price of silver moves $1, if you're trading futures, that's equivalent to $5,000. And while we're not down quite $1, we are down 89 cents, trading 23.43 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 91 points, Shanghai gained 36, the Hang Seng gained 104. The only mover and shaker there would be the Shanghai. Even though that's only 36 points, it's still just above 1%. And the European markets at the close, FTSE up 9, DAX down 16, CAC down almost 4. Again, some very quiet, narrow, sideways trade, and worth reminding, you know, we're coming off of a Friday where we put in new all-time historic highs. So what we have is a green day in Asia. We have a mixed day in the UK. And with NASDAQ being the only major index in the green, the other three in the red, it's a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. Gold hitting over a 4-month low as tapering bets strengthen the dollar. In other words, the Fed and all the money that they've created and pumped into the economy. There's talk, I mean, we heard at 2 Fed meetings ago that, you know, tapering eventually will come and blah, blah. And so that strengthens the dollar, which causes gold to take a hit. Okay, with all that said, we can go to Michael now and get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. After that,
Okay.
I'll come back. We'll look at the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and of course, throughout the broadcast, answers to your questions anytime you have one. Just put it in the chat box. No one sees what you type but myself, Michael, Valerie, Bert when he pops in, so don't be shy. If you got a question, ask it, and we'll get you an answer. Okay,
All right.
Michael, I can see your charts. It's all yours.
Great. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 9th day of August, 2021. If you've not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. There you will find a whole bunch of things, but the thing that's really important is right here where it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that. When you click on that, you can be brought to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. All right. Once you do that, hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. All right. If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you got to make sure you click on that link. All right. All right. Get into the results. Today was a rough day. We ended with our very last trade giving us just one tick to put us positive on the day. It started off really easy, but sometimes that's not a good thing. If I could have stopped trading when I got my goal for the day after the first 3 minutes, I would have. But anyway, again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 9th day of August, 2021. We lost 11 ticks in crude, we made 7 ticks in gold, and 4 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 10 on the morning session, plus 1 tick. And that was my last trade to get that. We were break even before that. Break even after 35 trades. So you can see what kind of a day it was. I'll go through it all in just a few minutes. Today it took 3 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. That part of $100 a contract. And we took a total of 35 trades. On the month now we're at $2,052. That's over 6 days, averaging $342 per contract per 2-hour trading day. All right, we've got our goal for the day on 150 out of 152 days. And on the year now, we're at $94,245 a contract. That's over 152 days, averaging $620 per contract per 2-hour trading day. All right, so let's get into it all. I'll show you the ES first because we hardly did anything there. And and that was kind of the way the markets were. In the pre-market, I saw this happening when I opened the room up. And so I was hoping for something good with the ES after that. Then just at the open, or right before the open, it popped through the zone, then right back down to the zone. So these zones are pretty close together, and it went zone to zone in there a couple of times, and just kind of got stuffed right in between them. We took one trade right here that gave us 4 ticks in profit. I'd have taken more, but I didn't notice it when it did that. It got really choppy. I missed this one. This was okay going up right here because we were far enough away from the zone to take it into the zone. Then I had 2 break-even trades right here. And that was it for the whole morning on the ES. All right. Crude oil was my nemesis today. I'll just go into crude. Okay, I had 6 stop outs today in crude. Now I went through the markets with everybody in the room this morning at one point, showing the highest probability trade setups and where they were. And out of all the highest probability trade setups that happened, every one of them was profitable. None of them stopped out. And there were about 6 or 7 between the 3 markets in the morning. But as it started out here with crude, our first trade on crude was right here. We picked up 10 ticks on that. Then we stopped out, and that put us at plus 2. Then we picked up a few ticks here, put us at plus 5. We missed this trade right here. Okay, that would have been a nice trade to get into, but we missed it. We also missed. No, there was no slingshot down here. I was going to say we missed this one, which would have been a highest probability trade, but the slingshot wasn't set up for it. It didn't set up until over here, and then the cycle had changed colors, so that wasn't the highest probability trade either. But it was a beautiful bounce off the BBC. The next trade here, we picked up 6 ticks to get us to plus 11. All right, then we missed a trade there, we missed a trade there, we missed a trade here. This highest probability trade, this highest probability trade, this highest probability trade. Okay, just 3 opportunities right there in a row, and I missed them all. This one on the short side, so 4 in a row, because this was also the same thing. 4 in a row right there on crude, and I missed them all. And there was a trade here that I missed, and a trade here that I missed. Then I took this one. I didn't move my stop fast enough, so I stopped out there. That put me at plus 3. Then I stopped out on the next one. That was a legitimate stop out right there. That put me at minus 5. Then I stopped out on the next one, pretty much to the tick, and then I went down and I was looking for this target number down here, and I knew I was caught up in chop here. And I probably should have gotten out of the trade, but I thought I was positioned well enough in the chop to not get taken out, but it went out, took me out to the tick, and then went down and did what it should have done, right down to this number that I had highlighted back here. So that put me at minus 13. Okay, and then got really choppy for a little while. Then we picked up 9 something here. Yeah, 9 ticks, I think. That put us at, no, we picked up 7 ticks. 7 ticks? No, 9 ticks. Put us at minus 4. That's what it was. Okay, then we stopped out again. That put us at minus 12. This one here, I think, yeah, that was just a stop out, legitimate stop out. We had a break even there. Then we picked up 6 ticks here to put us at minus 6. We had a break even there. Then we had another stop out right here. And that actually put us, let's see, something's missing here. Oh, the last trade that I took was right in here. That's what's missing. Okay, then we had another stop out. And then the very last trade that we took at the end of the session was right in here to get us to plus 1. So we had that and that to get us to plus, well, we weren't at plus 1 altogether. We were at minus 10, I think, on crude at that point. And let's see, during the break, there was a long trade right there. And another one right in there. It spun around and it gave, well, if you would have said there was a trend here, you would have said, okay, well, there's a trend, so you would have taken a trade right here off the BBC. That did not pan out at all. And that was it for crude. So crude was a rough ride today. And we ended with minus 10 on the crude. I forgot to write that last trade. Okay. And gold. Gold was also a fun ride today. So let's go back to the beginning. I think this is where we got our goal for the day on gold. Our very first trade. And it looks so easy. It all came together so quick and fast. We jumped in, got long right here. You could see it clear as day that it was trying to get up to there. So I got the goal for the day there. I could see it was going to go further than that too, but I just settled for the goal. And so we got the goal for the day on that one, plus 10. And then, see, on gold, I messed up I was counting wrong today for some reason. I stopped out here. And so at that point, we were at plus 2. And let me go over this again. Okay, so we're at plus 10, then we stopped out, and that put us at 2. And then we stopped out again, so that put us at minus 6. And then, so we stopped out there. We missed a long trade right there. We stopped out again there. That put us at minus 6. Okay, and then we picked up 3 ticks. Yeah, we picked up 3 ticks, and so that put us at minus 3. Okay, and then we picked up 3 more ticks, and that put us at break even. Okay, we stopped out, we picked up 3, had a break even, a bunch of break evens, break even. Then we picked up the 3 more right there, and that got us back to break even on the day. Then, then we picked up somewhere right here, we picked up 6 ticks, and that put us at plus 6. And then we picked up 1 tick right there, so that would put us at plus 7. And then we picked up 12 ticks on the next trade. So we missed one there, and we picked up 12 there, and that would put us at plus 20, no, I'm sorry, plus 19. And then we stopped out, and that would put us at 11. Okay, and that was it on the gold for us. So we ended up with plus 11 instead of plus 7. So I messed up. I don't know why I was doing that this morning. For some reason, I was counting 10 off on every crude trade and 10 off on every gold trade that I stopped out on. So I'll fix that in the spreadsheet in just a second here. The trade numbers were right and all that, but there was no trade here because we were going down into dynamic support that had not been broken. There was a trade here, but that's all during the break right here. Okay, so there was a trade there, there was a trade there. Then it looks like there was a trade there, and that's all during the break. And then it doesn't look like there was anything. Okay, so that was gold. So it was a lot of trading this morning, and yeah, and I was mixing everything up. I got a little distracted this morning by something, but on gold we ended up with, what did I say, 11 ticks. Okay, so that makes it a little bit better, but not that much. Same number of trades. And let's see. So we'll go over the spreadsheet one more time. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we made 9 ticks on, I'm sorry, today's the 9th. What am I talking about? Today's the 9th day of August, 2021. We lost 11 ticks on crude. We made 11 ticks on gold, and we made 4 ticks on the ES. I put us at plus 50 on the morning session. Today it took 3 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 100, and we took a total of 35 trades. That's a lot of trades. Anyway, on the month now, we're at 2092. That's over 6 trading days, averaging $348 per contract per 2-hour trading day. So all these numbers are updated since I just added those couple of ticks there on the gold, because I had been keeping track of it wrong all morning. We've gotten our goal for the day on 150 out of 152 days so far this year, and that puts us at $94,285 a contract. That's over 152 trading days, averaging $620 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, I buzz through this every day, but you guys really got to consider that $620 with one contract in 2 hours per day. Now, granted, if you stopped when you got break even all the time, the number would be smaller than that, significantly smaller than that. But the goal here is to build up the number of contracts. So if I added 1 contract per day, and I didn't, my average wouldn't be here because I'd be going to get my goal for the day and stopping once I got my goal for the day. But if I did get my goal for the day, on every one of those days, we'd be looking at, well, you got to add a contract to each one of these. I'll do that sometime and say, okay, well, if I got my goal for the day and I added a contract, like 1 contract per month, instead of adding a contract every time I got $1,000 gain, what would the total be there if I stopped getting my goal for the day? Because that's a significant number too. And the number of contracts we'd be at, because right now we'd be at 8 contracts. So on a day like today where I had a rough day, I was only up $50. That's 50 times 8. Or this is times 8. This would be times 8. This would be times 8. 8. Or it'd be this times 8. This times, well, yeah, each one of these days would be times 8. Okay. So you got to think of it that way. If I stopped when I got my goal for the day, each one of these numbers times 8 would be where I got my goal. And today would be 1 trade, $800. The other day it was 5 trades, $800. Day before that, 6 trades, $880. Day before that, 7 trades, $800. Day before that, 3 trades, $1,200. Day before that, 2 trades, about $1,000, a little over 1,000. Think of it that way. That's what we want you to get. All right. So back here to this. If you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. This is not the homepage, but anyway, scroll down to where the big green button is that says free trial, no credit card required. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest training challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link, okay? If you don't click on the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so you got to click on that confirmation link, all right? All right, that's it, guys. With that, we can pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I'm ready. Okay, recap of the recap.
Today it took 1 trade and 3 minutes to get to $100 a contract.
Good job.
Thank you.
And guys, if you mentioned it at the top of the show, if you missed it earlier when I said it, on the indices, the weekly trading zones are very narrow this week. From the lowest to the highest on the S&Ps, just over 100. And last week, as an example, it was about 170. And then the week before that, it was also about 170. And a week, I'll just put that one more week, it was about 250. So anyway, it'd probably be a lot of narrow sideways trade this week. Every day I go over a couple of headlines that I think might be of interest to you guys, but as you know, I always hit that doggone paywall. And of course, I don't want to subscribe to all these different newspapers. So, guess what I figured out? Well, thanks to a Reddit user who shared this. If you visit that paywall in an incognito browser, it's no longer a paywall. That bells for the Reddit user who shared that little tip. So now, if the headline's interesting enough, we could read the whole thing. Just launch incognito. If you don't know how to do that, let me know. And it's pretty simple. It's available in your Chrome browser. It's available in all browsers. Okay. There's an open letter criticizing Apple's plan to scan iPhones. 5,000 signatures so far. Now, I think I already opened that one up. Yeah, here we go. Here's what the deal is. An open letter asking Apple to rethink its rollout of photo scanning to identify child sexual abuse materials has been signed by about 5,000 organizations and individuals. While child exploitation is a serious problem, and while efforts to combat it are almost unquestionably well-intentioned, Apple's proposal introduces a backdoor that threatens to undermine fundamental privacy protections for all users of Apple products. I don't know if any of you have seen the billboards Apple has put around over the last year. What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. So Apple on Thursday said it would later this year begin scanning photos for child sexual abuse material. The scans would create data hashes of the photos that would be compared to CSAM databases held by anti-abuse organizations, according to Apple. Before an image is stored in iCloud Photos, an on-device matching process is performed for that image against the known CSAM hashes. The Electronic Frontier Foundation on Thursday published a blog opposing the update, calling it a backdoor that would be used to spy on Apple users. Parts of the blog were excerpted on the Open Letters website. The letter was posted on Friday, and by Sunday morning it had been signed about 5,000 times. The list of co-signers was a who's who of privacy advocates and organizations, including Freedom of the Press Foundation, where NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden is a board member and president. No matter how well-intentioned Apple is rolling out mass surveillance to the entire world with this, make no mistake, if they can scan for kiddie porn today, they can scan for anything tomorrow. They just turned $1 trillion of devices into iNarcs without asking. For those of you that are not old enough to know what a narc is, that's slang for a narcotics officer. Some who signed the letter identified themselves as current or former Apple employees. Insider has reached out to Apple for comment. WhatsApp head Will Cathcart on Friday said Apple's decision to scan images raised concerns. I think this is the wrong approach and a setback for people's privacy all over the world. In another Twitter thread, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney said he tried hard to see the move from Apple's point of view, but inescapably, this is government spyware installed by Apple based on a presumption of guilt. So I'd be very interested. We're all, of course, obviously against any type of exploitation of children, women, anyone, any human being, and certainly, we're against kiddie porn, child porn, as it's called. Do you consider this a good idea, or do you consider it a violation of your privacy? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. As of today, Amazon warehouse workers must wear a mask even if they're vaccinated. In response to the spread of the Delta variant, workers will be required to wear masks starting today. So this will affect my son. He's unvaccinated, but he is an Amazon warehouse worker. Knowing these 10 tech skills could land you a salary of $130,000 or more. A survey by Stack Overflow found that knowing certain programming languages, including Clojure, Elixir, and Scala, helps candidates score high-paying jobs. Elon Musk reportedly lives in a $50,000 prefab tiny home. Richest guy in the world, or second richest, whoever's in charge today. Made by Las Vegas based Boxable, that's Boxabl, Boxable. The prefabricated home already has a wait list of customers, and says that we can take a tour. Let's take a tour. Let's see where Elon Musk lives. So this may not be the exact one he lives in, but there you go. A photo shared with Insider appears to show Boxable delivering a casita to SpaceX, okay, one of Elon's companies. $49,500 for a 375 square foot tiny home. Elon Musk is believed to live in a casita which already has a 47,000 person wait list. 47,000 people are waiting to pay $49,500 for 375 square feet. Wow. Okay, here it is inside the factory. The exterior. More exterior shots. Okay, here's the bathroom. There's one being delivered. I guess this is the kitchen. Alright, this would be the sleeping quarters. That would be the living room, and there's your kitchen. Here's your back door. A Boxable unit being moved with a Tesla. Ah, nice plug for Tesla. Well, I believe communities of these will spring up all over. Some of you probably listened to that podcast I posted over the weekend about the big companies that are buying up the mobile home parks. Why didn't I think of that? They go in, they buy up these aging mobile home parks, and they immediately double the rent. Most of these mobile homes are so old that people can't move them even if they wanted to, and so they have no choice but to pay the rent. Remember, in a mobile home park, you own the mobile home, but you're renting the land that the mobile home sits on. And so people who are paying $250 a month, boom, like that overnight, as soon as their lease, if they have one, runs out, now they're paying $500 a month. So the investor who buys the mobile home park, as soon as they jack up everybody's rent, double it, that doubles the value of the property they just bought. And so now they can go to the bank and borrow money and buy another mobile home park and just, rinse and repeat until you got more money than you can count. And one of our members, partners, Tim and I, a friend of mine, he and I discussed buying mobile home parks, and he said they were very hard to come by. This was a year ago that we talked about this. Shipping, however, could still cost $2 to $10 a mile from the company's Las Vegas headquarters. I guess anybody that knows how to build, could start building these things. Just need a piece of land to put them on where the zoning is appropriate. All right, so enough about the tiny homes and Elon Musk's decision to live in one. I don't know what his reasoning is, but I'm sure he has one. Virgin Galactic announces tickets to space will start at $450,000. Starting next year, customers will also be able to buy a package of multiple seats, or if you really got a lot of money, you can rent out an entire rocket plane for your closest friends and family. A mystery buyer purchased a $278 million super yacht once owned by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. The boat, named Octopus, has 13 guest suites, 2 submarines, yes, that's right, 2 submarines, and a pool that turns into a dance floor. And this one everybody will find of interest, I think. SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet is fast approaching the speed of regular broadband. If you go to starlink.com right now, you can put in your address. It will tell you if service is available at your address. I put in my address and it says Starlink is targeting coverage in your area in mid to late 2021. I can sign up today and only pay $99, and once the service is online in my area, then I'll be billed the balance, which is the hardware is $499. The service is $99 a month. Shipping and handling is $50. Tax is $47.21. So you're going to spend $500 to get set up, and then you're going to pay $100 a month to have roughly 100 to 150 megabit download service. Now, the thing is it's portable. It comes with a tripod. If you travel, if you go somewhere, you go camping, take a trip, it's portable. And as long as you're traveling into an area where the Starlink service is available, you'll always have internet wherever you go. That opens a lot of doors for people who work from home, but would prefer to work from home by a, streaming creek or river somewhere. Very interesting. $99 a month. The typical Amazon customer is a college-educated woman in the South earning $80,000 a year, in case you ever wondered. And experts have outlined 3 nightmare scenarios for Salesforce as the company goes through a period of change, including its Slack purchase. Analysts say it may face 3 nightmare scenarios, including cloud complexity. And then there's other issues. Those other issues being, my incognito page didn't work on that one. Okay. World climate scientists have issued code red for humanity. Okay. So things are going to get bad. Senate votes to end debate on bipartisan infrastructure bill. Senate voted 68 to 29 Sunday night to end the debate, meaning the measure could pass as soon as today. 18 Republicans voted with the Democrats to move the legislation along. Under Senate rules, lawmakers opposed to the measure could run the clock for 30 more hours before a final vote. If that happens, that would push the passage of the bill to Tuesday morning. But it looks like it's going to go through. And you've probably heard that Cuomo's top aide, Melissa DeRosa, has resigned amid the harassment scandal. The executive assistant who accused Cuomo of groping her says he must be held accountable. The Dixie Fire is now the 2nd largest fire in California history. It's burned more than 463,000 acres. There's also wildfires in Greece, which has prompted evacuations. More than 2,000 residents of Greece's Evia Island have been evacuated by sea to escape wildfires raging across the island. Canada has opened their borders to fully vaccinated Americans. A judge has suspended Florida vaccine passport ban for cruise ships. And boy, we knew this was going to happen. Taliban captures 3 Afghan provincial capitals. There's 34. They just took control of 3. Because why? Because we're leaving. Should we leave? We know what's going to happen. And for those of you old enough to remember, there used to be a very lovable TV show, a 30-minute sitcom, many years ago called Night Court. They actually have court at night in places like New York City. Otherwise, the jails would just fill up. Although we live in a different world now. Markie Post, the perky, I believe she was the public defender. I don't think she was the prosecutor. No, there was a gentleman prosecutor, and I believe she was the public defender. Has passed at age 70. So there you have it. A little news from around the world. Now a little news from right here at home. We're in week 158 of Logic 247. We've issued, since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 18 alerts. We're waiting on the outcome of 11. We've had 7 actionable alerts. So far, nothing stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract, per trade, less when possible, using market structure, and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our traders. Now, those alerts come out around the clock, 24/7, starting Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, right on up until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Last week, the final recap last week, week 157, 61 total alerts issued, 8 never triggered, 1 carried over to this week. We had 52 actionable alerts, of which 8% would have been stopped out based on that $300 risk profile. Now, those alerts are based on current price action. Our original alerts, the concierge alerts, are based on historic price action. These don't come out around the clock. These come out as a static report shortly after the Globex open. So last night, 6:15, 15 minutes after the open, here they come. The way you handle them, put a line in the sand on each of these numbers for the market you trade. If price starts trending up towards 44.39, that's bullish. So you'll use what you've learned in the live training room and the logic alerts to find opportunities to buy the market. If price starts trending down towards 44.15, that's bearish. And so you'll use the logic alerts and what you've learned in the live training room to find opportunities to sell the market. Cover the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude, NQ, gold, and silver. So we'll go to a daily chart of the S&P. And here's that new all-time historic intraday high, 44.33 put in on Friday. And also a all-time historic closing high, 44.30 So we opened last night. We come down through, let me refresh this. We come down through blue and climbing. We hit the step line, which became support. The low was 44.12 which is basically the top of this trend line. We got a trend line intersection. This trend line, there was 4 back-to-back sessions where we couldn't get through that trend line. And then we did on Thursday, continued on Friday, and then last night, market opens, we come down, we test that area. Now, the top of that trend line, it's hidden by the step line. You know what? I could just make that go away for a minute. Look at that. There's the 24% fib extension. Here's the 24% fib retracement. So we found support at the 24% fib extension and the intersection of these two trend lines. There's a long story behind this trend line, this price channel. I won't go into all that today, but if you follow the show each day, you understand. But it took a day to come back and do the Trader Vic, but we touched the top of that trend line. Now the market looks like it wants to go higher. The high of today's session, which began last night, 44.32. The high put in on Friday, 44.33 and a quarter. So again, there's 32. And there's 33 and a quarter. So we've come within 1 1/4 points of putting in another new all-time historic intraday high. So till it's broken, we got a little trend line there. Now that could be easily broken today. I mean, this was a huge red candle all the way down. But buyers have come in from this low at 44.12 and a quarter, and they've driven price up to where we sit right now at 44.25. A reminder, this week we may see some very compressed sideways trade. In fact, it might look a little something like this. On your 30-minute chart, when your indicators, the BBC and the CFMA1, when they go flat like this, that's a very difficult market to trade. And so 44.39 was the long CTA, which never got touched. The short CTA last night was 44.15, which was touched, and then a swing low was put in at 12 and a quarter. So the market made 2.5 points available. Well, no, first it made 2 1/4 points available, then it made 2.5 points available. Once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering again than not triggering again. Now remember, these are the CTAs based on historic price action, but there were also logic alerts that go hand in hand with the CTAs. This logic will normally lead you to a CTA. On the Dow, again, more sideways, congested trade. Hopefully we'll be wrong and that will change before the week is out. But it's looking like we thought it would look last night. I think I posted in the discussion group. So the vertical line separates Friday from the Sunday-Monday session. We open right at, now these are last week's weekly zones. Our members got the new zones this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. But you hang on to the old zones for a couple days, because as you can see, they continue to hold sway over the market in the early part of the week. So we opened at a zone from last week, 35,100/105. We came down through the BBC, triggered that CTA. On the first trigger, we dropped to 985. So that's 20 points, $100 per contract traded. And we got back above the trigger, did it again. This time we dropped to 981. So basically same thing, $100. And the target, of course, on Sunday night is last week's zone, because the new zones don't come out till Monday morning. So we triggered again, again, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 triggers. Not all triggers are created equal. On a short, you want red and falling. Okay? Your CFMA1, you want that to be red and falling. Once it switches to blue and climbing, then shorting, no longer a good idea. We're back above the BBC on the 30-minute chart. And we do have an alert in the logic channel to take advantage of this window of opportunity we have up here. We need to get above that swing high. And then our window is from there to that swing high. Okay, Russell. 2254 on the long side, never triggered. On the short side, we did trigger. 2240. So we triggered, came right down to the target, which is the weekly trading zone below. So from 40, the zone is 30/31, so that's 9 points, $50 a point, $450 per contract trade. And then this one reached just above the trigger. It's almost like an obsessive compulsive thing, just had to do it. Reached above, and while it triggered, that's above the BBC. And one of our underlying principles is we don't sell above the BBC, so you kind of had to wait for price to get back below, and then that didn't leave you a lot of room to trade. Again, not all triggers are created equal. And here again, we had a short above the BBC and a short, so those are trades that, if you're following our methodology and strategy, you would have simply not taken those trades. Crude oil. 66.85 on the first trigger. We made it down to 64. So $200 per contract traded. Then we triggered again. And then we triggered again. Now on this one, you got blue and climbing right below you, so you might have chosen to let price take out that swing low before actually entering your short position. If you did, your entry would have been, maybe 66.50, which took us down to 65.20. That's $1,300 per contract traded. On gold, the CTA was to be short 1756, and we fell all the way to 1677. Let's call it 1680. Let's call it a $7,000 per contract trade. If you entered here and stayed in and got out at the exact swing low, it's about $7 grand. And then we never did quite trigger again. The swing high here was 54. The trigger was up at 56. So a huge drop. Price always reverts to the mean, which means we come back to the BBC. We consolidate sideways. And now we're below the BBC, and we're in the process of building another leg to the downside. Silver, similar story. The short CTA was 24.12. Now from 24.12 to 22.12 would be $10,000. A $1 move is worth $5 grand. We didn't quite make it that far. We went from 24.12 to 22.30, but we came pretty close. And then on the pullback, we didn't quite get back to the trigger, but silver performed very much like gold. After the huge drop, we consolidate right below the BBC, and now building a leg to the downside. We're pulling up. We'll potentially find good resistance here at red and falling. If we get past red and falling, then we'll find good resistance most likely here at the BBC. And wherever we find that resistance, that should give us another leg to the downside. And the NQ triggered on the short side at 15.065, and we came right down to the target, to the tick. Last week's zone, 15,005/15,006. So that's roughly 60 points at $20 a point, $1,200 per contract traded. And then the long CTA was 15117. So on this first trigger, we made it basically about $200 per contract traded. And then what do we got? 7 points, $20 a point, $140 per contract traded. And then on this one, $20 points, $20 a point, $400 per contract traded. And then again, and then on this one, 10 points, $200 per contract traded. Again, once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. And that brings us back to the ES, where we only triggered once on the short side, no, twice. The long CTA is pretty far overhead. This window of opportunity is outlined in a logic alert, and then we've got room to run up to that trigger and beyond. So what you see here, and basically what we saw Friday, okay, some pretty tight ranges. So just be prepared. This is a week where you may not catch a lot of runners, but on the indices, there will most likely be lots of opportunities to jump in, grab a few points, and get up. Because just as sure as a move gets going in one direction or the other, it's going to run into a weekly trading zone, which, whether price is moving up or down, when we hit a weekly trading zone, we expect that to be support or resistance based on however the market's flowing. And that brings us back to our daily chart. Important prices overhead, the high of today and the high of Friday, the all-time historic intraday high. And then above us, we have, I redrew the Fibonacci price extensions based on the last leg up. So from this low to this high to this low, there's the 24% fib extension, the 38, the 50, the 62. Those numbers are overhead. If we take out Friday's high, then we look for potential resistance at 44.40, then 44.64, then 44.87, and then 45.62. Support below us at the top of this trend line, this intersection, and then the 24% fib retracement of this last leg up is at 43.84. And if I put the indicators back on, the daily BBC is just below that 24% fib retracement at 43.78. The fib is at 43.84. So there's a nice area there where we would expect, if we drop to it, it should at least give us a very nice bounce, possibly back up to this trend line and or this 24% fib extension. Now, if you've not yet become a part of the family, go to eminifuturestrading.com and get your passport today. 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Why? It's simple. They don't have a teacher. They don't have, imagine trying to become a pilot, a brain surgeon, a plumber, an electrician without somebody to teach you how to do it. I mean, you can do a lot of things with YouTube videos, but trading doesn't seem to be one of them. Okay? So any profession that you want to pursue, you just know, oh, I've got to go to school, I've got to find a mentor, I've got to be an apprentice, someone has to show me. 9 out of 10 traders fail because they don't have that person in their life. We have a live instructor every morning in the live training room teaching you in live markets, putting on, taking off trades, showing you how to do what he's doing, and answering all of your questions. And the Passport gives you lifetime unlimited access to that room. You also have access to unlimited one-on-one mentoring. You learn our methodology and strategy from stem to stern. You own the indicator set for life. You receive the logic alerts around the clock for life and the CTAs. Everything we do, everything we've ever done, and everything we might do in the future, anything we might do in the future, it's all yours. Everything a trader needs, one low price. And your Passport is waiting for you right there. You could be in the Telegram private channels tonight trading with us when Globex opens. Just go to Emini futurestrading.com. Get the ball rolling. If you have questions, call Valerie 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net and she'll be glad to help you. Last week we had 4 fishing lessons. Today, fishing lesson number 5. Luke 5:5. And Simon answered, Master, we toiled all night and took nothing, but at your word I will let down the nets. So here's lesson 5. Stand on the promises of God. In their previous fishing attempt, the disciples were trusting in their own experience and ability, but this time they were trusting in Christ's promise. Luke 5:4, which says, Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch. Now, Jesus didn't specifically say, Peter, if you go fishing with me, I promise you a big catch. He didn't need to say it because Peter realized that when Christ told him to go fishing and then told him exactly where to put down the net, there was no way it was going to come up empty. Peter had an expectation that God would act. He expected him to keep his promise. When you get God's presence in your boat and God's plan in your head and God's promises in your heart, you can't fail. Now, you might be saying, well, that sounds great, but you don't know my circumstances. Right now, I'm defeated by the problems I'm experiencing. I'm having some hard times. If you're feeling beaten by your circumstances, do this. Number 1, read your Bible. Find a specific promise from God and start claiming it for your life, for your situation. Start expecting God to act, and you'll find that His promise will inject new hope into your situation. Just because you haven't solved your problem does not mean the solution doesn't exist. And with God, success often begins at the point of failure. It's when we reach the end of ourselves that we find the beginning of God. It's after you've fished all night and caught nothing that God steps in. So the word for today, don't give up. Try again. This time, do it with Jesus in your boat, and He will make the difference. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.